This week we talk about dancing priests.
He existed. He stopped a man from getting a gold medal at the Olympics at marathon. He danced in front of the fella who was running a marathon, and he danced on the Formula One track as well. Hans Christian Andersen.
The most famous autistic story about him was he went to stay with Charles Dickens because they'd been writing letters to each other. But they went to stay at the house, and then Hans was a nightmare. And Charles Dickens and all his children were just like, when is he leaving? and magical shoes. Hey! Sorry, I was talking about if my cat dies.
Tell us what would happen.
I'll have to take time off work, won't I? Because I'll be crying on stage and stuff, and I wouldn't be able to do this podcast in case you made a joke about him.
Because I would.
Yeah.
I make horribly inappropriate jokes sometimes.
Well, my cat has bulimia. We can't work out where it's coming from because he's been checked over.
Maybe it's from... No, I won't say.
He's not the obese one. But are you going to say because I fat shame him?
Yeah.
We actually continuously call him good lean boy.
Okay.
Because one time at the vet said he's a good lean boy.
That's nice.
Whereas my other cat is living in a larger body. and it's, yeah, we've been over this before.
Yeah.
Because people want me to be like, slay to my cat.
Yeah.
But she can't do cat things, which is like jump on high fences. She gets stuck on the roof all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rua, the normal sized one,
good lean boy,
straight sized. Yeah, he's just being sick after every meal.
Oh no.
We don't know why.
And
then he goes and eats
sick?
Again. Puts his paws down his throat like everyone.
No, he does not. Really?
Yeah, he's got little graze marks on the back knuckles of his paws.
I thought it was like, you know the way dog bulimia is where like a dog will eat a load of grass to make itself ill?
Yeah, he's got that.
Oh, right, sorry. I genuinely believed you though.
Yeah, we just see that little paw go down his throat.
That's why I was like, wow.
Yeah, we always know because all the crisps in the house have gone. No. Any ultra palatable foods.
Yeah.
No, I'm into longevity.
Yeah.
You said that like, who wants to live? So, there's one bit of all the longevity things I can do if I put my mind to it, apart from one thing, which is if you have faith in God, that helps you live longer.
No.
So I was like, am I prepared
to believe
to go
in God?
back to Jesus?
This is so weird because so I'm in a situation, how do I say this in a way of like, there are people around me that are having like either pregnancy difficulties or getting pregnant, right? And I keep talking to God about it, even though I don't believe in God, but I keep like, if there's someone I know who wants to be pregnant but isn't pregnant, I'm like, are you happy now, God? And then when someone gets pregnant who didn't want to be pregnant, I'm like, God. Like, I keep thinking that God is like a soap story writer for all our lives, like little Sims, and he chooses.
I had no idea that you were like that.
But it's just like, it's like a leftover thing from Catholicism. I don't believe in God. Only when bad stuff happens or I want to win the lottery.
Because I'm really have not had any issue with being atheist until I passed my driving test.
I have go on.
I had a drive that was so frightening.
Yeah.
That was so frightening that I was like, God, if you don't like make me crash, if you don't kill me tonight in this car and protect me, I will believe.
Kill you.
No, I was like, I will believe in God again.
And he did, and now here you are.
Yeah, I've had two drives like that. Basically, I tried to drive when I was jet lagged after I got back from America.
Yeah.
And because I was a new driver, I didn't know that's like terrible idea.
Yeah.
And it was just heroin. I had to keep turning the music up louder and louder. I was chewing like a full packet of gum.
You're like
I was
a boy
going,
racer.
No, I'm not like a boy racer. No, they're irresponsible.
No.
I'm very responsible. You've been in the car with me. I'm very responsible.
Yes.
What?
No, it's just like when you say you've been in the car with me, then I remember the 2 times I nearly died in the car with you.
When I like just passed my test.
We were driving through London and we drove through a wrong part. Do you remember this?
Yeah, at Elephant and Castle.
Yeah.
I remember it because you were making it more dangerous.
How was I making it more dangerous?
Right, because you can't drive.
Yeah.
And when you can't drive, I'm saying this as someone who couldn't drive for like 38 years.
Yeah.
You're like a little baby. You don't know how hard it is to drive. And that, like, when I couldn't drive, I would talk to people in cars and think, why are they ignoring me? I'm talking to them.
Yeah.
They're trying to not kill you.
That's true.
Why.
That's true.
So I was driving, and because I'd just passed, I didn't want to become one of those drivers that's like scared to go on the motorway or scared to do this or that. So I was like, I'm going to drive me and Alison through central London to Angel Comedy Club.
Yeah.
And I think that went okay, but then on the way back, everyone started trying to tell me my lights weren't on.
Yeah.
And I thought that meant I was going to be arrested. So I started to like panic more and more and more. And then Alison started to rub my arm, which I hate.
I was fingering
So
her.
then I was trying to like scratch my arm, and she was like, let's just Spotify jam and mix our playlists together. And I was like, no, you don't know.
Yeah.
It was like having a cheerful little pixie in the car.
It was.
But who can't help you at all? Because I was like, there's no one here to tell me like what I'm meant to do.
I'm like that terrible paperclip that used to be on Microsoft going, you seem to be trying to drive. Can I make you a Spotify playlist?
You've talked about that before, about wanting to kill yourself.
He always comes to me at my lowest.
Yeah.
It's either in every near-death experience.
Well, so
Yes.
Jesus, Jesus and God. I was coming back from Naples,
Yeah.
but I had to go to Rome to get the flight back, and there was so many priests and nuns because they're all going to see the Pope.
They are. It's like Disneyland, isn't it, for Catholics?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they go for updates or something, but we think he was a vicar, but then why would a vicar go and see the Pope? Basically,
To see the enemy, baby.
but either a vicar or a priest with his side piece.
With his side piece.
Well, there was a man who was dressed as a priest sat next to us on the plane, right? And he had this woman with him. She was sat across from us, and they seemed affectionate with each other, so we don't know.
Yeah.
But he was desperate to chat to me.
Maybe they're going to like a Vickers and Whores party like they have in Bridget Jones's Diary.
No, he was a real vicar
Okay.
because Connor looked over at his iPad and he was just reading about angels.
Oh. Like, what about them? What are they up to?
Yeah, but I felt that was a bit performative because he was really like reading. But guess what? The book I was reading was about. I was reading a book about the afterlife.
Oh shit! What's it say about the afterlife?
It's amazing. Well, now it's going to seem like I'm doing a paid placement for it. I'm not.
From
It's a book called The Delusions, and it's by a Scottish author called Jenny Fagan, and it's basically it's from the viewpoint of an admin assistant in the afterlife, and she's very world weary and Scottish.
Yeah.
And when people come to her in the queue, they have to get rid of their delusions in order to be able to like pass through to the next stage.
Right.
So your eyes just went so wide there. So it says like rapists are really hard to process because they never ever admit to their crimes. Stalkers never think they were stalking their girlfriend.
Yeah.
There's like a separate queue for all the what she calls the gangs, but that's just like all the governments and billionaires and stuff.
Whoa.
And then if you
Is that like
can,
a VIP line or?
no, there's no VIP line, and then all the VIP people kick off, and they're like, "Why is there not a VIP line?"
Yeah.
So if you don't give up if you have to like whack your delusions out of you, and they come out in this oily substance like a big eel. Then you have to put them into an airport tray, and then you get to pass through if you get your delusions out. If you don't, you go into this glass floor underneath that's like the floor of trapped souls. And then anyone who's done genocide goes into the theatre of cruelty, where they have to have all their crimes done back to them over and over again.
My lord.
So I really wanted to tell the priest about this.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, if you like that, you might like this. But I felt like this was quite a kind of a not a Catholic book.
Yeah.
And then I remembered I was wearing this jacket, and I touched my pocket, and I remembered when I'd been in Naples, I'd bought these tiny figurines of people in purgatory.
Oh my God.
About that bit. I meant to bring them in today.
Yeah.
I had a nun with her tits out, just going, ah.
Oh my God.
And then I got a little man as well going, ah. And then I got the devil being like, ha, laughing over them.
Oh my.
So I touched them. And then I thought, wouldn't it be great if I took them out now and made a kind of diorama of purgatory, and then I just look over to the priest and smile.
Oh God, this is what you like.
Yeah. So I took the little man out, the first little purgatory man.
Yeah.
And Connor sat between me and the priest. And then I just started dancing about to Connor. And he was going... Just shaking his head.
I didn't mind the Macarena, but this has gone too far.
Yeah, he was, and I was like, "What if I show the priest?" And I went, "No, Fern, no." And then I got so excited, I pulled another figurine out and snapped its arm off, so its tiny arm went flying. And then just the thought of this made me laugh so much, so I had to just stare out the window laughing, just holding my little figurines. But the priest didn't talk to me after that.
Yeah.
He was desperate for a chat at the start.
Was he?
Yeah, and he said, "Oh, I'm sitting next to a couple," and I said, "Yeah, and if the plane goes down, you could do the last rites on us." And he said, "Yep, yeah, it'd be very quick."
He'd get it done quick. When did you? So where are the figurines now? Where are you going to put them?
I put the figurines on above my piano.
Beautiful. Lovely.
But I might move them to, we were going to, the nativity scene in my toilet.
Yeah.
We were going to put them there because for some reason the nativity scene hasn't been put away.
No.
So Connor wanted to put them in amongst Mary and Jesus.
Put them together.
But they're not the same size.
Right.
Yeah. But Naples was big into scenes of purgatory.
That's because, like, I'm trying to think.
But a lot of them scenes weren't far off.
Hell.
No, Naples.
Oh, really?
No, a lot of you'd look at a lot of the purgatory. Oh, God, sorry, magical skulls. What the fuck?
What?
Sorry.
What?
No, it's because maybe I do have ADHD.
Yes.
Right. I went to this church called the Church of Saint Lucia. And have you heard of it?
Is Lucia the newest saint?
No, that's like a little Italian, but I actually heard there's a
saint.
Scottish. Is there not a Scottish saint coming?
What? We should research this in a minute.
No, Saint Lucia, she's one of the old ones. She's the patron saint of eyes, and I think that's because they pulled their eyes out.
It's always...
And then the eyes were still looking towards heaven or something.
Yeah.
But we went into this little chapel. We'd just come out another museum, the Torture Museum.
Wonderful.
And there was an English family there, and they came over and they were like, "You should go in there. All the tours are in English." And then I just turned to the Italian tour guides and I was like, "Parlo Italiano." And then I said in really crap Italian, I said something like, "The English do not speak other languages." And Connor was like, "You are such a knob." And then the tour guides were like, "Well, we're going to do the tour in English." Anyway. So we went into this church. Because here's the thing, I speak Italian, but only if I can say fixed, pre-prepared sentences.
Yeah.
So it's a lot like going around doing stand-up comedy.
You're like, how we all doing tonight?
Literally, I kept going around Naples like saying,
What's your job?
siamo qui per correre la mezza maratona. And then they would be like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I like didn't have a fucking clue what people were saying back to me.
Oh, yeah.
I really need to brush up on my Italian.
I think it's really cool that you have that much Italian as it is, but like, you know.
But I can't understand what anyone's saying back to me.
At least you can stay. You.
I can say some things and then that's it.
Because it's so weird, like what is decided are good phrases for people to learn. Because I remember this Portuguese phrase book in a holiday home that I was staying in, and it was like a really big thick one, but like one of them was so it was around the it said please use a condom, think about AIDS. And I'm like, who's bringing that phrase
Wow.
to implore someone to think about AIDS?
Wow.
It's like, yeah.
I tried to learn some Neapolitan phrases. There's oh monacello.
What does that mean?
That's like a little magical goblin thing dressed as a monk. And whenever something mad happens in your house, something unusual or something goes missing, you go, oh, monacello. Kind of like how the Catholics pray to Saint. Did you pray to Saint Anthony?
All the time
We did that.
something.
We did that like it was the most normal thing in the world. And then it would turn up and my gran would be like, you see?
And Padre Pio was a
I never knew what he was.
big element of driving in the Irish community. There was always like a picture of a bearded man on a dashboard of a young teenager.
He wasn't a big one for us.
No.
St. Anthony was the biggest one. But I also learned me down a voz. That means let me speak. But anyway, I went to this chapel that had all these skulls, and you make a wish on this magical skulls.
Whoa.
And it comes from they had a big plague in Italy, and all the poor people couldn't bury their bodies, right? They couldn't have like separate gravestones for their relatives, so it meant there was no grave to go and visit. So then this little cult started up where you picked a random skull, and then you were like, this is my family's skull now.
Whoa.
And then you would go and say prayers to it. So now there's this weird little chapel you can go to, and you write down your wish and put it in.
Catholics are big into wishes.
No, but this was a little cult, and it got stopped because the Catholics were like, that's a step too far.
Oh,
Jesus can float up to heaven.
Idolatry.
He can like do the water and the wine.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's Catholics always love to have the maddest beliefs, but anytime someone's like, should we do our tarot cards? They're like, oh, that's a step too far.
Yeah.
They don't want anything supernatural outside their supernatural.
I know, and no offense to Catholicism, but I was a Catholic. Their supernatural is shite.
Like, you didn't need to say no offense.
Yeah, you know what? That's very true.
It's a paedophile ring. It's an international paedophile ring.
Full offense.
They're delighted about the Epstein stuff because they're like, no one's gonna look at us now.
Getting the heat off them. Yeah, like I'm trying to think of like my favorite aspects of Catholicism when I was younger and stuff.
I liked Easter the best because we would get a cream egg at church.
That's madness. I did not care for Easter. I think it was the blood and gore aspect of Easter. Like
what about the mini eggs and the cream eggs on all the Easter eggs?
There was none of that in my... There was none... Did you have the Stations of the Cross?
Yeah, big time.
Cool, okay.
But we had a children's version.
And what was that? Was that like... They were like, Jesus just went for a little sleep.
Nah, it was... kind of problematic when I think about it.
No. Something in the Catholic Church.
I mean, I didn't have a clue. When I think back to the effort my parents put into indoctrinating me, you think back on all this stuff and I was like, I didn't know what was going on. I was just trying to push through the Easter week to get to like Sunday.
Yeah.
And the eggs and stuff.
The eggs, yeah.
So our Stations of the Cross, so if you're godless, Stations of the Cross Stations of the Cross is like all the different stages Jesus went through. Like he had all this humiliation that he had to go through.
It's like a box set, isn't it, of Jesus's death? So you have him in like 12 episodes.
Exactly. So there will be like Jesus falling, and then Mary helping him get back up.
And then, like, some people pointed at Jesus and laughing.
They
like,
pointed
they're
and
ridiculed.
laughed. And then he dies. So you go through all these things and like think through it all. But the children's version of Stations on the Cross, they would put up pictures around our church. You would go during your Easter time off school. What a treat. And the picture would be like of a little African kid looking for water or food on the ground.
The Catholic Church are mad into that. The IP of like poor African children.
Yeah, did you have? Oh wait, no, because it was a Scottish thing. We had ours was called ski off.
But was that the thing where you put?
It had like a picture of an emaciated like kid on it, and you
did it for Lent.
Money in.
Yeah.
I once did a sponsored cookie sale for Childline.
Did you?
Childline was big, yeah, but I ate almost all the cookies that I made.
Yeah.
And then the money I made from selling the cookies, I kept it.
Oh.
But I just want people to know, if you've sponsored me to run the London Marathon,
there's proper
the money is not resting in my account. It's safely with Just Giving.
Nice. That's I have definitely used the Troker box as like a savings thing. I just forget
For you.
Yeah.
No, I never stole from those boxes, but our Stations of the Cross was all seemed to be
Childline.
Our Stations of the Cross always very like we're white saviors and that was what the pictures were. But I loved Easter Sunday. Me and my brothers had a ritual where we would get our Easter eggs, pull our collective Easter eggs.
Yeah.
And then we would break them into pieces and we would take turns at which one of us was like a sort of Roman emperor and the other two were the servants. And you would just drop broken pieces of Easter egg into each other's mouths.
So you were cosplaying as the baddies in the Easter story?
I never thought of it that way.
That's what they had.
We just kind of thought like, who's got
the power?
Who's got power? Yeah.
Yeah. Normally the bad guy.
Yeah, I never realized we were playing the Romans. Fuck.
What? You're feeling bad over that? You're like, I've stolen from Childline, but it's cosplaying as a Roman.
I mean, I hadn't raised a whole lot of money. No. Like, I've not got the power of Esther Ranson. Isn't she the? She's the founder of it. She
is, yeah. She's still kicking.
Still going, yeah.
Fair play. So with Easter with me, there was this. Did you have this thing once? We had a mass where the priest would wash the children's feet.
Fuck no.
No, we had that.
Was that before or after Ireland's historic sex abuse crimes came to light?
During. It was. I don't.
This sounds very like a Michael Jackson video.
He had to do it in front. It was like it was like
in front of people that had been DBS checked.
It was a public mass, and if you were special enough, the priest would wash your feet. And
that's literally what paedophiles say to groom children.
Oh my god!
This is happening because you're the most special.
I know.
Oh my god.
But my mom insisted that I washed my feet really, really vigorously before the priest washed my feet, so the priest wouldn't judge my feet. So, and I was
we never had anything like this.
No? Okay. So we had to I was like going to Mom, but Mom, like give him a bit to work with. Like, why are we,
I do remember there was some bits of church, because church was 90% really dull.
Yep.
I remember that there was some bits that really stood out to me where I was going, this isn't right at all. And there was one time I was at my grandparents' church, which was like extra backwards. I was in this church and I was so bored that I started to read the mass sheet that they give you.
Yeah.
And it was this whole sermon about how no form of laughter is justified, and when it comes down to it, all laughter is evil.
Wow. no. Who wrote that? And on what
Just a
type of mood?
priest, just a bored, mad priest.
This is it. I think being a priest is very similar to stand-up comedy because
Your views go mostly unchecked, and they can get left to get crazier and crazier.
exactly. And the
Especially
more successful they are, the crazier they are.
1,000,000% it's like that. That's the other thing. I've never ever met a normal priest. Did I tell you we had a double act of priests? I must have told you about
Double
this.
active priest. No.
Yeah, we for a spell, because we never had just one priest for a long time. They always move on or come out probably. We had this. It was Father Michael and Father John. One was tall and skinny, and the other was short and fat. Right.
The ultimate double act, baby.
And they both
They have a
loved.
podcast now called Ignore That Feeling.
Yeah, and they both loved to think of themselves as funny guys, and almost like they were almost like Michelle Pfeiffer in that film where she's like, I'm not really like a teacher. I'm a cool teacher. They wanted to be cool priests.
The way they sit in a chair backwards and they go,
Yeah. What if God was just like a friend that came to visit occasionally?
what if God was one of us?
Yeah.
Just a stranger on a bus trying to make his way home?
I forgot about
Think
that.
of that.
So, and they used to come round people's houses, and I remember my mum getting really jealous because they'd gone to my best friend's house, but my best friend was a rich girl whose dad was like the town solicitor or whatever.
Yeah.
And their house always had tons and tons of sweets from the cash and carry. So I was thinking, Mum, he's never going to come round. What are you going to say? Have anything you want from the fruit bowl? Like, he's not going to want to come round our house. And then the word got around that my mum was pissed off that we weren't getting visits from the priest. So then the priest had to do this like obligatory visit where you could just tell he didn't want to be there. And he just came and sat and had like one cup of tea. But it was so weird being desperate to have a priest come visit you.
Imagine you're so not cool the priest won't visit your house.
But it wasn't to do with being not cool. It was to do with like our house was up a steep hill. We never had tasty food to eat.
Yeah.
Literally, like the tastiest thing in my house at any one time would be a half packet of digestive biscuits that you had to have doled out to you for your one treat a day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, this is but how did word get round? How did your mum spread the word?
Mum, she must have quite easily. She would have just been telling other people.
She would have been like, I'm getting right fucked off with that priest.
Well, she was like, how does he never visit us? What's the point in going to chapel if he doesn't visit us? But he was like, I just, how can I as a child understand he's going to the house with the most sweets?
Yeah. That's the relationship between like a priest is like a celebrity. It's like a mini celebrity in your village.
It is mad because they're just never normal people.
Do you remember that dancing priest?
No.
There was an Irish priest.
Well, they had that in a Father Ted episode. Was it based on that?
Well, maybe it was based. He existed. He stopped a man from getting a gold medal at the Olympics at marathon. He danced in front of the fella who was running a marathon, and he danced on the Formula One track as well. I don't know how. Why? Because he's like getting attention for God. He was just. I think he was a bit eccentric. I'll Google him and let's just see how he's doing. Okay, let's see.
It's reminding me a lot of the Hans Christian Andersen story, The Red Shoes.
Tell me about that.
You don't know this story?
No.
Fuck, it's so good. It's like one of the best ones of his fairy tales. So basically, this little girl, she's an orphan and she lives with this kind old woman, really kind old woman.
There's always orphans in these fairy tales.
Yeah, and the old woman is like, oh, it's time to get your confirmation or your first communion.
Yeah.
And she's like, great, let's go and get an outfit for me. So you go and get the outfit, but the old woman is like almost blind. So then the little girl picks out a pair of red shoes and she gets a pair of red shoes to wear to her first communion.
Yeah.
The old woman is like, oh, are they appropriate? She's like, yeah, these are white shoes. goes to First Communion, but she feels so proud that she's wearing these red shoes.
What a queen. I love her.
And she's like, even the paintings are looking down on my red shoes. And then because of her pride, she just starts to like dance. And this old beggar with a ginger beard's like, what pretty shoes they are. See how they gleam. And he like flicks them, right? And then she just fucking dances out the church. And everyone's like, stop dancing, stop dancing. And the old woman's like, what are you doing? She boots her in the face, puts her unconscious, right?
Oh, no.
And she just fucking dances away. So then she dances, goes to the local dance hall, dances up and down all night, and
That's
everyone's
all
like,
right.
those shoes are great. And she's like, yeah. Then she goes back to the house. The old woman has now fallen gravely ill from being kicked in the face. And she's just like, and she just dances out the house, dances into the forest, sees the old man with the red beard again, and he's like, what pretty shoes you have. And he says, dance you will, like you will continue to dance forever. And then she fucking dances into the forest and she's like, no. And she dances through brambles. They tear her skin.
Oh.
She just can't stop dancing.
Yeah.
Eventually, she, after like days of this, she gets to the executioner's cottage and she's just like, please have mercy. Cut my feet off.
No.
So then he gets the axe, cuts them off, and she's like, convert me to Christianity. I want to. Yeah. She's like, please. So then he makes her wooden feet, puts them on, and she's like, oh, thank God. And then just starts like praying. Anytime she tries to leave the house, she sees her cut off feet just dancing outside the window. So similar to what you had, she's got like CPTSD and she's just like, I can't go out the house. So then she prays.
Yeah.
And she prays so hard that her room turns into the church, and she's so happy that her heart bursts and it flies on a sunbeam to heaven.
Oh my God! Just the heart, none of the rest of it. It's like a beating heart.
Yeah.
Wait, I have several questions about this story. Can we talk about? You'd think being an executioner, it's quite an important job that you'd get a larger house than a cottage. You'd hope. Being quite a big member of society.
Really?
Look, we can't.
Wait, wasn't it like the olden days bin man?
That's what I was thinking. You're just binning rubbish, yeah. That I did, but I think like tell me if I'm wrong, but I think if you do like one of the most horrific jobs ever, you should be. It's like those people who work for Facebook and have to look at like abuse stuff on reels and make sure that you're not. They should get paid more than Mark Zuckerberg, but they don't. Anyway, I forgot any other questions about it. So the dancing. Do we know what type of dancing?
I'd say it was all types.
All types, break dancing.
Manic dancing, possessed dancing. At one point, the worst bit is she's dancing past her house and she sees the old woman in her coffin being carried out.
Oh, that
and she can't stop to go to the funeral because she just keeps dancing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Hans Christian Andersen is like
I nearly did my dissertation on him because his stories are so fascinating.
And don't they say that he could have been autistic as well?
1,000% he was autistic.
When I say they, it was probably you.
Yeah. No, there's other people that say he was. He was so thin that he used to stuff his shirt with paper to try and make himself look less emaciated. And he also was in love with this prince. Who I think was his benefactor. Right. That's what The Little Mermaid's about.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, you can't speak and you're in love with someone and you can never, like, fully articulate yourself. But at one point, Hans Christian Andersen was knocking about with a guy. He was in love with a guy, and all of, like, Danish society was judging them, and they just didn't give a shit.
Oh,
and I think that's
nice.
quite
That's
autistic to not
give a shit about social norms.
But the most famous autistic story about him was he went to stay with Charles Dickens because they'd been writing letters to each other. But they went to stay at the house, and then Hans was a nightmare. And Charles Dickens and all his children were just like, when is he leaving? At one point, he went out onto their lawn and just like sobbed and had a what sounded like an autistic meltdown.
Yeah. Hands.
And then Charles Dickens is said to have based the character Uriah Heep on Hans Christian Andersen.
There's kind of like this.
I think it should be a series. I think the stay at Charles Dickens' house should be its own thing.
Yeah, that would be class. I think like there's no bigger kind of like what is it like serve to put on someone than to be like, I'm gonna base a character on you and make it like the most annoying one.
He could have just directly said to him to leave, but he didn't.
I think that's hard. I know that is a hard. Yeah, I know. Would have been a very shorter series though if you were leave. So this person is called Neil Horan. He's the dancing priest. There's two references to dancing priest.
I thought he was in a band.
Oh no, that's Niall Horan. He's from my town.
Right.
He's from my town. Yeah. So there's two dancing priests. There's Father Liam Finnegan, who's a fictional character from Father Ted, and there's the real one, Neil Horan. Cornelius Neil Horan, sometimes referred to as the Grand Prix priest, or the dancing priest, or the Armageddon priest.
Wow.
He's a former Roman Catholic priest who's noted for his interference with the running of the 2003 British Grand Prix and the 2004 Summer Olympics men's marathon in order to promote his religious beliefs that the end times are near. He was arrested and spent some time in jail in Germany in 2006 when police found out about his plans to stage a pro-Nazi demonstration during the 2006. I did not know this. Look at him.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No.
No.
That's autism.
Do you think that's autism? So yeah, he went on Britain's Got Talent in 2009. He danced a soft jig on the show, received a standing ovation by the audience, and was put through to the second round. He did not make the live semi-finals, and he showed his support for disgraced entertainer Rolf Harris in 2020. I'm gonna stop now. He's lived a life.
If you want to hear Alison read from Wikipedia, sign up to the Patreon.
Genuinely, I will do that. I think I could do that. I could bring like different Wikipedia pages that I've searched.
Yeah,
I do that a lot.
What do you want to say about Pointless?
Well, like what if we talked about like you? So I love Pointless so much. It was like, I was thinking about it today. I was thinking about how much I love Pointless and so I've been like missing my ex-boyfriend because we used to watch Pointless a lot, and that's out of my life now. But like I love Pointless so much, and you never watched Pointless in the run up.
No.
And I want to talk about why.
I don't like watching quiz shows.
Why don't you like watching quiz shows?
Heartless.
I love quiz shows so much.
I don't like watching quiz shows. I don't like watching cooking programs. I just like to watch dramas.
Yeah.
High quality dramas.
Yeah.
With good storytelling. I don't want to watch people playing a game. That'd be like me sitting watching my relatives play Scrabble at Christmas or something.
I used to love sitting beside my cousins while they played computer games, and then I would pretend I'm involved somehow by going, go there. And they, like I was a guide.
I went on Pointless for you.
You did. You were very good.
But I find it really sad. This has now gotten so far from what I got into stand up for.
Yeah.
And I feel so like, what's happened here? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
But it's good. We can all like different things. I just I don't want to go on quiz shows.
I love the act of quizzing. I love doing like we do pub quizzes together.
I love a pub quiz.
You love a pub quiz.
That's the thing. Like, I love pub quizzes. I don't want to watch people do them. I love cooking, but I don't want to watch people cook on TV.
I'm big into. I have so many regrets over the times that I've been on TV doing quizzing, because
I have so many regrets over the times I've been on TV.
Really?
Full stop.
Like what?
Everything. I just look back over almost everything and I think, you could have done something with your life.
No, you were great on Taskmaster.
That's like one job. Everything else, I'm just like, what was that? Or do you ever remember all the pointless meetings that you had? Like, I can't stop thinking there was one time I got coaxed into going for a meeting where they were like, oh, it's very exciting. These Scottish documentary makers were thinking about making a programme about deer meat in Scotland, and we think you'd be the perfect host to host a piece about deer meat. And or venison.
Yeah.
And I just, do you ever think of that? You're just like, I'm in the wrong job. This isn't what I went to uni for.
There is so many aspects to it that you're like, so I went on a thing called Celebrity Globetrotters in Ireland. And it was like, the celebrities was me, which should have been a bad sign.
Shane McGowan's wife.
Shane McGowan's wife. The man who helped make homosexuality legal in Ireland, David Norris, incredible man. Dana, who won the first original, she was the original Eurovision winner for Ireland. David from Crystal Swing, Derek from Crystal Swing, and David Gillick, an Olympian. And we went round Morocco for a full month. And
you liked it?
I did like it, yeah, because I would never get to go to Morocco unless I did a TV show, and I spent a long time there. But it was just really surreal. Like, there was times where, like, I have to, like, what? So I got a call. A cousin had died in a car crash, and it was very sad. And it was in the middle of a desert, so the phone network wasn't working for ages. So everyone started getting phone notifications, and then I started crying because I was like, "Oh no!" And then, like, I heard this like whispers over my head. And I looked up and had Dana, who's a really big Catholic. Like, she's been on evangelical TV shows and stuff.
She's an anti-choice campaigner
she
now.
Is, yeah. But she was very nice to me in Morocco. So, but she started praying over me. And David Norris is a big Protestant. Like, he's probably one of the biggest Protestants in Ireland. And then, that sounds such a weird thing. One of the biggest Protestants in Ireland. And then the bus driver was Muslim, and he started praying as well. So I had like 3 different types of prayers that were trying to send my cousin somewhere. So I was happy about that. But yeah, that's my most showbiz horrific story ever. I've
heard it a lot of times.
You have.
Thank you so much for joining Alison and I today on Ignore That Feeling. Please like and subscribe. We would love to get to 1 million followers on YouTube, because do you know something? The closer we get to 1 million followers, the bigger and better our guests are. Yeah, that's not true. That's not true at all.
Ignore that feeling.